Welcome to a Matter of Mindset podcast. Joseph Carpe DM putting in work from the AM to the PM. You know the vibes. I got a special guest with me, the illustrious Morgan Hytes in the building.
What you saying, my G?
I'm good, my G. What are you saying?
Yeah, man, I've been waiting for this still.
Fam, listen, I'm feeling good about this episode still.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Blessed, man. I can't complain. Just chilling. Just, I'm on furlough at the moment, so it's a bit mad. I've only actually worked 2 or 3 months since last March.
Okay.
Since the pandemic licked off, because I work for TFL, and the people that I actually look after are the elderly, and they're not coming out, disabled elderly. Okay. So I kind of been working in little sporadic periods, but bro, they pay me.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
I hear that.
Yeah, man.
Can I ask, what's something you're grateful for?
I'm grateful. You know what? To be fair, as we just talking about the pandemic, I'm just grateful for life, bro. I'm grateful to have my health. I'm grateful to have my family. One thing that this whole period has just taught me is just to keep the loved ones close to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we can run around the UK doing our thing, and I know me and you are very active people. We have active lives. But this pandemic taught us to sit down for a little bit. Once I did that, I can speak for myself. It was important for me to kind of reevaluate the person I am and just, my purpose. So, yeah, man, my son, just watching him grow. He's 6 now. He's going to be 7 in August. And I had to do a lot of homeschooling with him and stuff like that. And
how was that?
It was, you know what, right? Kids are really, they're really forward. They know, they are very, very smart. My son especially. And it was interesting to see what his homework was like. Just to see what he's learning, his fractions, and bro, some of the maths he's doing, I didn't know, bro. Some of the maths, I was like, I'm glad you know, because
I don't. Like that.
Daddy didn't really make that part of the. Daddy didn't really make that part of the curriculum still, but yeah, no, it's been good. He's recently, he's learning more how to join up his writing. Yeah. So now we're doing like phrases, when similar words like there and there, but the two different spellings and two different meanings. He's learning that, writing that down in sentences, bro. It's crazy. So I'm just grateful, bro.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
It's funny you talk about purpose, because purpose is a theme that's come up a lot on my channel, and the purpose thing is something that's outside of you, innit? So it's good that your purpose is your son, innit? Because especially the link between father and son is very important.
I don't think even women really appreciate it, because I feel like women are more, because they're more maternal than us, they automatically have that connection from birth. Yeah. But you can see my son and the dynamics that I play in his life and in his upbringing that is very vital. Yeah. Very vital, and it creates that balance. So yeah, no, bro, it's good. It's good.
It's different. It's good. It's definitely, it needs to be spoken about more. And
absolutely.
Yeah, fatherhood is very important.
Absolutely. You want kids?
Yeah, I want kids.
Yeah, man. It's you know what? It changes your perspectives. It changes your outlook. It gives you a lot of growth. It grounds you fully. Like when my son was born, nothing else really mattered. Nothing. It was like, this is what? This is me. Like, this is another me. So all I was thinking about is how I can impart as much knowledge, information, and moral fiber into this person, so that when he gets to a certain age, he can look back and say, look, this is what my dad taught me. Certain things. And it's just, everything outside of it just goes away. So, you know what I mean? Something to look forward to, bro.
Yeah. Nah, I'm looking forward to being a dad still.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Cool. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
I didn't even speak about how we met. Obviously, how rude of me. Obviously, we were on Clubhouse.
Yeah, G.
Then I'm just in a room minding my own business. Then I hear Morgan saying, "Listen, I've got a podcast, but man, I need a videographer still." And I'm like, yo, I know a guy, you know. I'll DM you his details. Shout out Joseph, you know.
Yo.
I'm gonna let you tell it as well, still, cause
So basically, I do a fortnightly podcast. It's called Fast Food.
Go subscribe to the Fast Food Podcast.
Go subscribe to that.
All networks.
See me.
YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere. Go subscribe.
And we were on our 4th season now, and we took a break because of COVID, and we thought about Zooming, but because we're still quite early in podcasting in terms of building our brand and everything else, we didn't really want to do the Zoom because
you didn't want to sacrifice the quality.
No, we didn't want to sacrifice the quality.
I hear you.
So we kind of just took time out, and then we reconvened. I think we started recording again end of November, December. So we had a cameraman, shout out to Trebler, who I got mad love for, and we got to a point where I kind of aesthetically wanted it to look better, and he just didn't have the equipment. And the way that I envisioned the podcast was just beyond his means, and that was it, literally. So I remember going into the room, and I just threw it out there because one thing that's good about Clubhouse is there's so many creative people in there, and people who are networking all the time. And I just thought, let me see if someone knows somebody. And it was crazy because Shawnee mentioned something. Shout out to Shawnee.
Yeah, shout out Shawnee.
And then you said, oh no, I know somebody, I can put you through to somebody. And I was like, that'd be fantastic. 2 2s. You sent me his link, sent me his number, gave him a call. Joe is a creative. Like, if you listen to the podcast now, right, we've got this running joke with Joe.
Yeah.
He's very quiet.
Yeah, very quiet still.
He's like a silent assassin.
Yeah.
But we kind of make him sound like he's just like one of them thugs that if you say the wrong thing to him, he might get mad. So we'll say something to him. We're like, right, bro, just be careful, you know. Joe's like, Joe don't say much, so you know what I mean. He might have something in the car, he might have something in the boot, so just relax. You get me? And that's our little running joke with him still. But reaching out to him, bro, he just was cool. Told him what we wanted to do with the podcast, and it was more of a look, just come, record an episode, and it's not even a thing where if we like you, it's if you like working with us. Same, you know what I mean? So come check us out, see what you're doing. He came down. He brought all his equipment, bro. 2 cameras, bam, bam, 2 cameras. Oh, bro, we was only doing him with 1 camera before, bro. 2 cameras, tripod. I was like, this Donny is on crud, bro. Yeah. He was like, nah, this and this and this. So, and then he would more like, okay, cool, you lot sit there. And he had a vision. Yeah. And I was like, bro, this is refreshing. This is new. He recorded 1 episode. After that, chopped it up with him. He's like, look, I'm here. Like, if you wanna continue, let's do this. And I was like, bro, you know what I mean? Let's go. I feel like this is the way forward. And at the moment with our podcast as well, it's growing. Yeah. So now if he's on board from now, he could be executive. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, when you start partnering up with people, if they understand what you're trying to do,
it makes everything easier, innit?
Makes everything easier, man.
Bro. And it's even funny, because when I started my podcast, I asked the guy Ty, as in he's like a creative founder of like a company called LD and RBS. Shout out Ty. I'm like, yo, I need a videographer, and he's like, I know a guy, and that's how he introduced me to Joseph. Right. So when you were in the room saying, I need a videographer, it was only right that I shared the blessing, bro.
And I thank for that, because you know what that was. It's like how I move in life is I ask. And 9 times out of 10, bro, I receive, because it's just, it's not about egos. It's not about me trying to, I'm never too proud. Like, I know I need help. Yeah. I know I need something different, something new. You get me? Something, and it's always important as well in life, in general, to always try to do better. Yeah. And do more. Never sit there complacent, even in your job or whatever you're doing. Always try and find new ways of improving. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I was doing. Even till now with the podcast, there's still things I still want to do going forward. And I'm guessing we'll get to a point where the show will be what the show is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the moment we're still in its infant stages, and it was a blessing, bro, because like he came, he was on time, he was on point. My videos are looking really
Crisp,
special,
yeah, bro,
really special. And I was like, look, see what happens. Ask and you shall receive.
See, fam. Shout out Joseph.
Shout out to Joseph,
my namesake and that. Shout
Man,
out, fam. Shout out you. You see everyone that has my name. They're a great man, you know. Shout out you.
Special Bible. It's a Bible name, bro.
Fam. And you know what it is as well, yeah? It's like doing this creative thing, yeah? Like we're in the creative field. It showed me a lot about life, and it's like, blood, there's no way man could have done everything by myself, bro. I need people, bro. And when you can admit in your life and whatever you're doing that you need people, the humility is there, bro.
No man is an island,
fam.
No man is an island. Like at the end of the day, we're using equipment. That's help.
It's help, bro.
You know what I'm saying? We need equipment to get things to flourish. So I wouldn't say we're relying, but we get assisted.
Yeah.
It's assistance.
We all need assistance, bruv. We all need assistance. And when you can acknowledge within yourself that, yo, I need assistance, you know, you'll have a level of humility.
Absolutely.
Like, even I have my other basketball podcast called We Call Game.
Yep.
I have a friend called Steven. Shout out Steven. Go follow the Raffle Boys. All my brethren are creative nowadays. It's sick.
Yeah, love it.
Go follow the Raffle Boys.
Love it.
Obviously, he's more good with like the visual stuff.
Right.
So when he's doing the visual stuff, I'm like, yo, you can actually do that. You know, I trust your judgment. Do that
because it looks good.
It looks good, bruv. You get what I'm saying?
Proofs in the pudding, innit?
Yeah, like it's like when you just know that you need people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an humility. It's humbling.
Yeah, bro.
Like there's no ego in that.
No, and at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do yourself. Like I edit my podcast, so I record the episodes, download it to my laptop, go home, upload it to GarageBand, put all the drops in, put all the music in, put all the little jingles in it, boom. And that takes time. That takes as long as sometimes the podcast is. Now I'm learning kind of to sift through it. Because now I'm more conscious of when I listen, when I'm actually recording, I'm more like, okay, cool. At that point, that dropped. I'm kind of ahead now when I'm recording. So then when I know when I'm editing the pod, it's like there, and there. But I still have to listen through things because you might miss a little vibe or you miss a drop or... So I got to a point where I had to learn all that myself. Now, when we're talking about visual and recording and editing the visual, I ain't got time. I ain't got the time. I can't do all of that and be a husband and be a father and work.
Yeah,
it's too much. You have to delegate jobs, bruv, like to people. Just like boom, and again, as that creates a team, that creates an ethic.
Yeah, that
people buy into, because no doubt Joe's sitting there editing and he's like, yeah, okay, cool, well, boom, boom. You know what he said to me the other day? He randomly messaged me and said, bro, what font do you use for your logo? I was like, bro, that's a good question. I'll ask my graphic designer. Graphic designer hit me back, boom. Shout out to my brother Teeks. He's messaged me back. This is the font. 2 I sent in the font. When I've seen the new episode, bro, he's got our names in the font.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was like, bro, I was just trying.
Yeah.
I never asked Donnie to do that, bro. Yeah. But that's vision. That's somebody who already has foresight. Yeah. And I've got bags of foresight, and I need people like that around me that can go, have you ever thought of this? Or have you ever thought of doing this? And that's what it's all about. Yeah. You know, and you grow that way. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Very important.
You gotta let people, like, everyone has their own vision in it. You gotta let people execute their vision how they see things, because that little tweak could be the thing that takes your thing clear, bro. You get what I'm saying?
It's mad because graphics and all those things that you see on other visual aids and podcasts and even films, all those things add. Even now when I'm watching films, I'm looking at the graphics now. I'm looking at what they use as for the title shot or what they're using for the opening shots. And One Division, I don't know if you saw One Division.
No.
But they used a lot of old font type of from the black and white days. Okay. So they're more like the Jetsons, but there's specific fonts they use for that. Yeah. And you kind of now when you're watching it, it's shot a certain way, but then the text make the difference. Yeah. And it gives you that feel. Text gives you feel, bro. But it's small things to a normal person, but when you're somebody watching something, that gives you that extra.
You never know what catches people's attention.
Extra quality.
And as well, it's just like the graphics thing is not really my forte.
Yeah,
so if you want to exercise a little change, I'm not really one to say no, you know. You probably know more about this than I do, so I'm gonna let you try a thing still.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna let you try a thing still. I'm gonna ask you a few questions though.
Talk to me.
Oh, what's one thing you wish you had known by 21?
Good question. So, when I was 21, I was still figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And at the time, I was incredibly in love with hip hop music. Incredibly. So, and I grew up on the era of Tupac, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan, NWA, all of that. So, I was immersed in it for a long time. So when I was 21, I started writing, and why I started writing, because I used to hang around with some kids from Southall. Southall's deep West London, over by Ealing, that way.
Yeah.
And I met these guys through just a mutual friend, and they used to do ciphers at their house. So one day, I'm sitting there, and they're just going around the room rapping, doing their 16 verses. So you've come around to me, and I had like, you know, when you're a kid, you just got little 1 or 2 verses, but you know it's not serious. I just spat my rhymes. Man was like, yeah, cool. But I knew that was a par. Like, that was, yeah, they were being nice.
Yeah.
One Donny, shout out to my brother Mervin. He was called Trooper at the time. He started MCing, bro. He started rapping, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, how is this Donny just barring like this? Like, where's this wordplay even coming from? From there, it made me fix up. I remember Commander B used to have a show on Choice FM, and he used to have a night flight show where you could ring up, showcase your talent. So you either sung or you rapped or whatever. And if you were good, he would give you like a chair. If you were bad, he'll flush you and cut you off. Like straight, just drop the call. Boom. Sorry, mate. Boom. Jog on. Next. Rare. So anyway, I got to a point where I started to really get good at this writing shit and this rapping shit. So one day I called up the show, mid-show, and I was called the Assassin at the time.
Yeah.
Right, you know, Assassin's one of them old school hip hop
old school.
names.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. You see the intro to your podcast?
Yeah.
I can't lie. I vibed to it still. I vibed to it still.
Yeah,
like,
bro. That's
still.
it, bro. Like, that's a vibe, innit? Like, so I was like, okay, cool. He goes rap. So I rapped a verse, and while I'm rapping, I'm waiting for him to flush me, just because I wasn't as confident as I should have been. But at the time, you're just conscious of people listening in and that, like, rah, you just got flushed, bro. Yeah. He didn't flush. So I end my rap now, and he's just listening, and it went silent, bro. He went silent for like 2 extra seconds, maybe 5, but it just felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then, well done, Assassin from West London. Boom, boom, boom. You round to the next round. From there, I was like, okay, cool. This is what I want to do. This is really what I want to do with my life. I want to rap. I want to make records, and I want to put them out. And at the time, I was just running around with drum and bass heads and stuff. And I got signed to an independent label. I was turned maybe 26, 27. And it's a subsidiary of Sony. And I called myself Doom Man at the time.
Yeah.
Because Doom Man was like when I started getting into like the Marvel stuff. I was a Marvel fanatic. And Dr. Doom was like it was mad. People usually will have heroes as their muse. Yeah. I like villains. I just like villains is my thing. Like the bad guy is the guy. And Dr. Doom had this like mask, green hoodie, and he's just cold blooded with it, and he just float around until he's cold with it. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be dark, sinister. And that was my thing, bro. That was really the lane I went down. And I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I took it as far as I could still. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed every moment. You know what I mean? That was a good vibe. I mean, for me, music, if you're passionate about it, I suggest anybody to do it. But do it for the passion. Don't do it for monetary gain, because that might not necessarily happen for you.
Yeah.
And there's so many politics that surround being in the music business. But if you're talented and you just wanna use that talent, then good. One thing I should have done, which is leading basically to the question you asked, is I should have had a job in that meantime. I should have just done something else, learned a trade, and harnessed that alongside my music, because my music was never going to go anywhere really. It was always something I was always doing. So I just had to probably be more selective with my time. But if I go back now and if I was to see my 21-year-old self now, I would say, look, go and get a job, stick at it, use that money, put it into studio time, build up, save, stack. And by the time you're in your 30s, in your 40s, you do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much that, bro.
Oh, that's fair, man. That's fair, man.
Yeah.
That's fair, man. Man like Morgs. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a mad insightful guy.
Yeah,
Can
man.
I ask? Yeah,
you go for it.
Bruv, who inspires you to be a better person?
That's a good question. Who inspires me to be a better person? I would say my family. I'd say my wife, my son, my mum, my brother. Shout out to Teeks. I must have been nearly 30 years old. My brother's early 20s, middle 20s, because he's 4 years younger than me. Got really ill, bro. Got cancer. Got really, really ill. Went into rehabilitation. Bounced back from it. And like a year or two, I think it was about a year, you know. It just felt like it was crazy time. He got really ill again. And this time he ended up in intensive care. And worst time of my life, bro. Worst time of my life, because not only is my brother blood, but we grew up best friends. We grew up super close. We're just into the same things, into the same girls, into the same lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So, and 4 years apart, when you get to a certain age, ain't really that much difference. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So when he got ill, it took me, man. It was like hard, bro, because it was almost like me there. So I'd go visit him at the hospital. He's got tubes down his nose everywhere. He's on life support, all of that stuff, because he's blatantly fading out, rude boy. So I prayed, and my family are very spiritual people. Prayed a lot. My mum was there 24/7 at the hospital, and he turned it all around, long and short of it. And as he came out of rehab, and we started having deeper conversations about who we were as brothers, we just realised that all the little petty things that we used to argue about, because we're super close, didn't mean anything. Nothing at all. And I left the hospital one day, and I swore just to myself that, one, I wouldn't take my life too seriously, but I'd live every moment as much as I can and appreciate who I am and where I am in my life, and not look at where I'm supposed to be or where another person is, or watching other people and what they're doing, because life has a funny way of teaching you lessons, and it might not even be through your own experience. It might be a close relative. It might be, as I said, my brother. It might be a friend, close friend. And things just become
minor.
Yeah, super minor. Like, so my brother's in a wheelchair now. He's just hit 40. He's in a wheelchair, but he has his missus. He has a son. He DJs. He's a graphic designer. He's modified his car. He drives a really nice car.
Right, you're doing more stuff than people that are not in a wheelchair.
He's doing it. Yeah. And at one time, Joseph, he wanted not to be here anymore. Real talk. He was done. Because imagine for 20 odd years of your life, you're walking, and then 2 twos, you just don't have your legs no more. And you're young. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot to take. It's a lot to get through mentally. Just dissecting that. I don't know what that felt like, bro. But he's changed his life around, and I look at that. I look at him, and even when I get my downest days, and I get my days where I'm just not feeling it, and we all go through it. He always pops into my head all the time. And when he does, I'm like, bro, if he gets up and he keeps it moving,
who am I not to, innit?
What am I doing, bro?
Yeah.
I got my 2 legs.
I ain't got an excuse.
None.
Yeah, for real.
None. I can't, bro, because I can get up and I can change this whole thing around straight away. Like, I can get up and go for a walk, and get up, I can go get coffee, go out, get up, go to the gym. I can change my whole viewpoint around, and it's just inspiring that he's there in my ear. Like, and even now it's crazy because sometimes when I talk to him, he's it's crazy. People say I'm the calming person in their life. So my wife, she's just erratic. She'll be like, babe, this and that, and I'll be like, babe, and that calms her down.
Yeah.
Even when I call my brother and I'm like, bro, bruv, he'll go,
chill, man. It's not even that deep.
And you're like,
you're right. You're right. You know, that's the you're not. It's not even that deep.
It ain't. And he's calm with it because he's gone through the worst and come back. So it's like
it puts everything in the proper perspective.
Puts everything to perspective.
Nah, I hear that still.
Yeah, man.
I hear that still. Speaking of creatives, yeah. Obviously me and you watch the Joe Budden podcast really frequently.
Popping off.
Popping off.
I'm a fan.
Listen,
I'm a fan.
I appreciate the content still. Obviously Joe's my guy, innit?
Yeah.
Obviously I'm from a different era than you, innit? Yeah. So I'm listening to hip hop there. Like, I'm a deep hip hop guy, innit? Yeah. Obviously Joe Budden had the Pump It Up tune.
Yep. He had a few joints.
Yeah, he had a few joints, Focus, bare tunes. Then obviously he wasn't as mainstream, innit? But I still fucked with him, innit?
Yeah.
So I'm telling man, yo, Joe Budden is still cold.
Yeah.
And man, I'm like, nah, man, he's washed. I'm like, bro. Anyway, we fast forward. Then Joe's in that the content creating world, like everyday struggle for the culture. He's doing it. Then with the Joe Budden podcast now, he's got Rory and Mal. Then it has the negotiations about the Spotify deal. Then these men go on strike for 6 weeks.
Crazy.
And I'm looking at this situation thinking, you know what? I get Joe's mentality. Yeah. Like, he's created this thing from the jump and he's brought you man on board.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And in my view, I think just in life in general, everyone's replaceable.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone is. It's difficult. All right, so flip side to that, I never used to like Joe Budden. I liked Pump It Up at the time. Focus was dope. I think Focus is a better record.
You think?
Than Pump It Up. Focus is my kind. Focus is that low, slow hip hop element.
Yeah.
The beat, everything. That's kind of my vibe. Pump It Up is an obvious. It's a big record, but it was more of an obvious. It's a single.
Yeah.
But as I was growing up, Joe Budden used to just get himself into trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan members slapping him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bare madness. Yeah. Like bare madness. So I kind of questioned who he was.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like, who's this Donny? Because like, you kind of should know that. You should know Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. They told you.
Yeah.
In their records, bro. So, and I'm not saying. Obviously, I didn't know his life. I just used to hear things through and that time, don't forget, social media wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
You just hear it on Hot 97 or you hear Westwood talking about certain things. Joe Budden obviously came up through the YouTube era as well.
Yeah.
Did a lot of vlogs.
Yeah, he was documenting his relationships with Tahiri.
So so I was just like, I had my view on him. When he actually started doing the podcast and I tuned in, I was like, this brother's kind of cool. Still, this guy is kind of he's funny. He's intelligent for sure, and he's innovative. He's creative. Like he's got an ear for talent, and this whole concept of podcasting. Because I was listening to Brilliant Idiots before. Brilliant Idiots.
With
Charlemagne and Schultz.
Yeah.
Said before that. So obviously he came through and he kind of created another lane with podcasts. Yeah. Playing music on the podcast, showcasing stuff and stuff like that. So it was interesting. And I really got into the podcast. I really, really started following it. In fact, religiously now, as I said, I'm a fan of the pod. Like I listen to it standard. It's because it's my commuting podcast. It's my when I'm at work in between lunch breaks. podcast on the way home. It's that kind of thing. So, but yeah, leading up to Rory and Moore cutting out from the show, it was interesting, and I'm kind of still I'm still evaluating this situation. I do believe, bro, it's called Joe Budden Podcast. So it's called the Joe Budden Podcast. So if Rory and Moore really put their foot down and said to him before this whole thing jumped off, look, we want to be a part of it, you got to call it another name, then that would have happened.
Yeah.
But they kind of went along with a lot of things, and the thing is, we can go, that's naivety, cool, but at the end of the day, you can't get to a point where your podcast has millions of followers and then you keep up a madness.
You have to have the energy from the jump.
Like, and before it's this whole, bro, it's mad because I tweeted Joe about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, when Rory was on there asking Joe for beef, to fight. And I tweeted Joe, walk on with Rory, bro. Joe retweeted me. I don't know. I was like, bro, what? Like, so I'm guessing even at that stage, Joe was kind of seeing there's a little shift going on. And now, obviously, we're seeing news of information coming out about the Spotify deal and certain things that we're kind of implementing. And Joe was not being as, he was not making them privy to certain things. Now, Joe is saying that that was nothing to do with them. And now I can see why the dynamics are the way they are.
Yeah.
Because Joe Budden obviously is the guy that put this whole thing together, brought the sponsorships together, put this whole thing together. He's the cog.
Yeah. And these men are jumped on board. I've been saying to my boy, I said, listen, when Joe's like, these men are talking all these things, but I said, I guarantee you, before, I didn't know anything at the time, but I said, when Joe Budden is negotiating deals, Rory and Mao are not coming with Joe.
They're not at the meetings.
They're not at the meetings. And I'm saying the reason why they're not doing it is because Joe Budden is the prime mover. Everything started with him.
It is.
So
and that's
you can't come and be like, yeah, I'm on the same level as you just because I'm on the show with you and people like me. No, because when it comes to the ideas and that's all me.
Yeah.
You man just jump on board and just get in where you fit in.
And I said this on my podcast. I said that what does Moore bring to the podcast? So why I asked that is when you listen to Joe Budden's podcast, Moore is the cool one, yeah? He's the cool guy. He's got the swag, he's got the little one line, as he says, his character is incredible. And obviously he's got a massive rapport with Joe because they've old school, they're friends.
Yeah.
But when subjects are supposed to be deep dived, Joe is always constantly asking them what they feel about. What do you actually, like, could you actually, I've heard him millions of times say in a pod, express yourself. Could you tell me what? Can you? And it's like, when you're doing a podcast, yes, you want to be entertained, but at the same time, you want to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
And Maul I feel like he doesn't do enough research for that show at all. He'll have his opinion on things, but it's never
informed.
Yeah. Rory more so. So I'm like,
maybe he just hasn't got the range.
Maybe he doesn't have
the range. Maybe he hasn't got the range.
Maybe he doesn't have the range, and that's his lane. And obviously that's what you bring to it. And I said this as well. I knew it was about P. I knew it was about P.
Yeah, it's always about P though.
I knew. A man tried to convince me it weren't. I was like, it's about P.
I was talking about respect and that thing. I'm thinking, bro, if you get out of your feelings for 1 second, there's no disrespect. Man's giving you a contract. You signed it. He's honoring his contract. So what's your problem?
What is your problem? And you're saying, oh, you don't feel like you should have told Rory that he shouldn't have come to the show. Then who is the person to say it?
Who you think it should have been a collective decision or something? Like, no.
Well, that's what he implied. But I'm like, not really, because it's clear that Joe makes the decisions on that pod. He makes the decisions, and somebody had to make a decision on that, on man getting called out. I feel like maybe Maul didn't want to be at the pod without Rory looking like he's taking sides.
Yeah,
I get that, but your loyalty is to Joe because you're Joe's brethren.
Allegedly, fam. You see that friend term, fam. That friend term is flung around too loosely, bruv. Like, especially when it comes to money, bruv. Like, your so-called friends will make a decision in a heartbeat, bro.
So they're fired.
They're fired. It looks like still.
I heard Rory's fired.
Yeah.
I never heard Joe say
More.
I
think Moore's gonna dip just because I don't know what. Obviously, Moore and Rory seem like they're a bit close. So if Moore jams, it's like, right, okay, so they're taking Joe's side. So I think Moore's gonna dip. Either way, I don't know if this is Joe's attitude, but my attitude is, listen, if you want to dip, you can dip, fam.
Yeah.
Like, just me, I'm not the sort of person to keep someone around me as a person. I'm not the sort of person to keep someone around me against their will. Listen, if you want to bounce, the door's there, you know.
Your thing. Fam. It's true.
And Joe's shown that how these men are replaceable because he with fam.
I got used to fam. I got used to Ish and them, you know.
Have you seen the video of Academic trolling them? Oh my! When he chose them man on Twitch, is the funniest, blood. And he even said, he's like, Joe could replace these man in 6 weeks. Then he got Ice and Ish. Is it Ice and Ish?
Ice and Ish.
Yeah. Then Joe was like, dislike the video there. There was bare dislikes. Then I think next 2-3 episodes, these men are like, you know what?
Yeah.
These men are actually cool, you know.
And you know what? Them man there know their lane. You could right, and this is the thing, and this is what happens when things are organic, and I get that as well. I get when Rory and Moore came to the show as well. That shit was new, organic. It's like, we're boys. This is the vibe, and it took off.
Yeah. Whether
they knew it was going to happen or not, it did take off. But now we're getting to a place of, okay, what's my worth? And I get it. Again, when you're negotiating and when you're running something, a business with someone, you should always make sure that your terms and conditions are met. But not when the show's rolling. Not when you're in the middle of a they just came back because they were doing a lot of Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
They just came back to the studio. Rory got COVID. Parks moved. House.
Yeah.
New setup. So they were like, this is a new phase of the pod. And then all this stuff starts coming up now. Maybe there's some resentment because obviously Joe turned down that Spotify deal.
Bruv, why? What are you resenting? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you see the thing with Joe, yeah? He knows his value. Yeah. And when you know your value, you say no way more than you say yes.
Always.
And what's understood doesn't need to be said.
True.
Do you get what I'm saying?
True.
I can only explain that to you, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you get it.
It's true.
You get me? So
I understood it. I understood it perfectly. Because you're looking at Rogan and them, man, they're making different dough.
Yeah.
And if Joe's podcast, which was number one at one point, now it's like in its 2030s, which is still, bro, they're getting millions of views, bro. They're getting millions of views. If you're getting millions of views, what are you telling me? You've got an audience that come every week.
Yeah.
Your demand is high. So pay me. Pay me. And I know, because at the end of the day, if you think about where Joe Budden's come from in his whole career, all of this is a culmination of leading up to where he is
now. Yeah.
This is like, I'm not trying to take short backhand. I've been through it already. I'm not trying to take the short. I'd rather just keep the podcast going until something eventually comes, a deal comes that I can fuck with. But until then, I'm not just going to sell my shit or give my shit away. I understand it, bro.
Yeah, I fully get it.
I understand it.
I think with Joe, I think you have to be a creative somewhat to kind of understand him. Because he can be a bit erratic in that.
He can.
But it's like, okay, cool. If you actually listen to what he's saying and deep the mindset and actually just, like, you know what, let me just listen to him.
Yeah.
He says some stuff, bro.
He does.
He says some stuff, bro.
He does. He knows. He's been around. You see what I'm saying? He can speak to Jay. He can speak to the homie. He can speak to Big Hove. So when you're in that position where you can make a phone call, you have to make the right decisions. And it's all calculated stuff. It's stuff that you can't just. You can't make split decisions with things like that, with deals, contracts, things of that nature. You have to weigh up the pros and cons and decide whether it's worth it or not, and then renegotiate. And this is how business is done, bro.
Yeah, and I swear these men I swear Joe was all talking on the episode saying that how with a Spotify deal, these men were trying to give them Rolexes.
Yeah, man, dead.
Yeah, fam. So he's thinking,
and them men were cool with that.
Yeah.
See this, and this is why obviously academics goes on that type of way, because Act was like, what them man they're doing outside of the pod anyway. The man ain't got nothing going on outside of the pod. He even referred to Brilliant Idiots. He was like, look, at the end of the day, Charlemagne and Schultz come together to do their thing, but Schultz has got his Netflix thing. Schultz has got Flagrant 2. Schultz is making thousands and thousands of dollars on his own. Obviously, he started with Charlemagne, but he's seen what...
Yeah, he used the opportunity to actually do other things.
And grow his thing. Yeah. So then you become worthy. Now, Charlemagne ain't looking at Schultz as...
You're just here for the ride sort of thing. Yeah.
He's not bringing nothing. He's looking at Schultz like, if I include Schultz in this is another lane.
Yeah, another audience.
This is another audience. So you get me? Like, it's again what their man have done. Really, they haven't really seen it. They're just sitting on the show. Cool. Rory's getting red in the face, and this is some bullshit, bruv. Like at the end of the day, like what you now what's happening now? Apparently, bro, his marriage or his engagement's all falling apart.
Yeah,
he got engaged to his current missus or his ex or whatever at the Rock Nation brunch.
Yeah, I heard of that. Yeah.
Now that's all peak. So obviously, man's decisions man's making some
decision making is a bit all over the place. Unfortunately, bro.
Unfortunately, King.
Blood.
Mad.
It's very mad. But anyway, bro, in a real life, what are you looking forward to? Like, just
it's real. I'm looking forward to just being outside. I'm looking forward for this summer to just be something that enables me to just catch up with people. What I'm noticing as well is, and I'm talking to a lot of people now, I'm kind of outside gym, going to coffee shops, whatever, just on my daily routines. People are scared to leave their house now.
Yeah.
They're so used to being at home that the thought of going back out is daunting, and that's natural. Human beings' natural habitats is the outside, is outdoors, bro. Like, and it's crazy because I'm just now, I'm done with COVID, bro. I know what it is. I know it's taken so many people's lives, and you know, it's tragic. But at the same time, life goes on, and the world's turning, and not only does the economy need to be built back up again, but people need to associate, because it's like we've lost that connection, that natural connection, that natural vibe. Like, I haven't seen my mum in nearly 6 months.
Yeah, I haven't seen my dad in a minute. I need to go check my dad.
It's real, bro. Get me? I haven't seen my brother. I haven't seen a lot of family members. I haven't just been out for dinner with friends. I haven't been to a party in time. Just had a drink and just listened to tunes and watch girls' bottom just walking around the place, bruv. Like, that's just gone. All of that is just gone. Like, so I feel like this summer, there's talk of another lockdown. I don't know, and I personally I can't think that far.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if this summer they're letting us out this summer, let's just make the most of this summer.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, we just got to operate in the here and now, bruv, because you get me. That's all we're in control of, really.
That's all we're in control of. Bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One last question or two, and I think we're about to wrap up still.
Talk to me.
Obviously, last question I'm going to give you is, what failure have you learned the most from?
Failure. That's a good question. And you know what? I've failed with a lot of things in terms of just when I was young and I made decisions that necessarily wasn't the right ones. But I always learnt from them. And I've never been somebody who's moved with a crowd. I've always been an individual. And I've always made my own. Always made my own lane. But if I'm gonna say if I can say I failed at being a recording artist in the terms of I wasn't successful. So I didn't reach the Kano, the Dizzy Rascal, the Wileys, the DWEs, the Gets, the Gigs state that level. And at one point I was rubbing shoulders with all of them. Tiny Tempers. I had records on BBC One Extra, BBC Radio 1. I was Glastonbury performances. At one point I thought I really was gonna make it. And it didn't happen. Now I could take ownership of a lot of the things that happen in that aspect, because one, as I said, if I look back on it now, there's certain things that I would have put in place alongside my music. I would have definitely had another income stream. I had another revenue stream to help do music videos, or you know what I mean, hire that band to play those instrumentals. You know what I mean, I needed a drum kit. Let's just get a live band and play this stuff. And certain things that I wish I could have done, but just financially didn't have the nous or the opportunities. But my record label as well, they definitely controlled a lot of what I wanted to do. And I feel like I failed at, you know, just having that hindsight and that vision, just to, you know what, this ain't working, so I'm gonna do this, but I'm still gonna keep my eye on the prize, but let me put certain other things into place and build. So like when I look at my life now, my life's completely different. My life now is a culmination of failures that I've just managed to just use and learn and integrate into winning. Yeah. So it's never too late. Like I feel like failing is very important. Failing is very important, because if you just always win at things, you just imagine when you do fail, what that feels complacent like. Still. Just like, and a lot of people who've always had handouts or have always had a lot of success, when they do fail, it's like the worst thing that could happen to them. Yeah. Whereas for me and you, I suppose, we've had situations where it wasn't successful, but that helped us, that molded us, so that to give us tougher skin, so that when we do have things that don't work out, we just move on. Okay, cool, that didn't work. Boom. Yeah. You know what I mean? We spoke about it early in the pod. Right, I needed a new cameraman. This one ain't working. Let's go. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and waste time worrying about what I don't have. Let's go get, you know what I mean? And that's where I feel like, again, when you ask the question about my younger self, it's a really good question. And I feel like when we're talking to kids now, we're talking about, you know, the youths now of today, what they need to understand is they need to implement a lot of things in their life now and see it. And if they need help, they need to reach out. They need to reach out to your elders, if you ain't got a dad, your uncle. If you ain't got an uncle, your teacher. If you ain't got a teacher, just reach out to figures who are 20 years older than you, who failed, who 100% failed at some stuff. But they can impart knowledge for you to help you grow and understand, look, there's different ways in this life to navigate. There's not just one way. It's not A, B, and C. There's A, Z, D, G, T. You can just do so many different things, and there's so many different variables. So you should actually, you know, what you should do is not just isolate yourself and concentrate on one thing at a time. Try and build. And I feel like the failures in my life has just helped me a lot.
Listen, I'm even going to go as far as saying I don't think you failed at all still. And the reason why I'm saying that is because failure is a mindset, bro. Yeah. Failure is a mindset. You were talking about the thing that happened with your brother.
Yeah.
Like, I've lost a loved one, innit? I've lost my mum, dad when I was 13, innit?
Crazy.
Listen, that thing could have beat me up. I'm like, listen, you know what, bro? Listen, I have to keep going, bro. And it's like, you know what? Listen, this has happened.
Yep.
This is probably not what I wanted, but I have to keep going. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if something happens and it doesn't beat you up and you learn and you keep moving, bro, it's not a failure, bro.
It's true.
It's not a failure. You get what I'm saying?
You're right.
Putting things in perspective is important, man. So I'm just like, yeah, man. Last question, and we're about to wrap up. I said that last time.
That's cool, man. I'm here for it, man. I'm here.
How do you want to be remembered?
As the guy who loved, and the guy who embraced, and the guy who imparted knowledge, and the guy who was just a funny character. I remember when my grandma died, she told me never to grow up. I didn't understand it at the time. I really didn't understand what she meant until I got to a stage in my life where things were just getting too serious, and I took a step back and I was like, you know what, I need to just enjoy where I am, who I am, what I am. And if you notice, Joseph, you hear me on the clubhouse, I'm always about haymakers and funny jokes and one-liners, and because I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. And while I'm here, I might as well just make the most of it and enjoy it and just have fun, bro. Have as much fun as possible and stay. And that's what keeps me young. Do you know what I mean? I'm 44 this year. It's mad.
Black don't crack, you know?
Yeah, bro.
Come on, bro.
But because my mindset has been trained to always think on the bright side, always to be happy, always to find happiness in whatever it is, fun, like find the fun in things and enjoy it. It always keeps me young, bro. Even fucking with you, bro. Even fucking with AJ.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Shout out AJ.
Shout out AJ. My son, who's 6, just chopping it up with him. He's not experienced, but just being on his level, it's fun.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's like, Dad, let's play Xbox. Let's do this, Dad. Let's play sword fights. Let's kick ball. Let's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Those are the moments you'll cherish, fam.
Straight, bro. Like we get so wrapped up in paying bills and our life and what we need to do to make sure that we're in the next 5-10 years. What are you gonna do in the next 5-10 years? Cool, but don't forget to live.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget about where you're at now, because sometimes you're so fixated on what you want to end up becoming that you forget to live for now, and that's important, bro.
I agree.
That's important.
I think that's gonna wrap up another episode of Matter of Mindset. Morgan, tell them where they can find you on the socials.
Well, listen, I'm on Instagram, Morgan Hytes on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Morgan Hytes. The Fast Food Podcast, we're also on Instagram. Just search the Fast Food Podcast. We are on YouTube, Fast Food Podcast TV. All the episodes are on DSPs, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts as well. I just found out
I put mine on Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Another platform, why not?
Another platform, bro. Yeah. So yeah, man, we're on that. Check it out. We're every fortnight. Come through. Me, Trim, Drizzy, shout them out. Yeah, man. Blessings to them. We're gonna have to have you on our show too.
Listen, anytime, bro. Shout
bro,
me.
come through, bro. Bro. It's a lot.
I'm gonna bring the magnums this time, fam. I'm gonna bring the magnums this time, fam. I might even bring a little punch or something.
Yeah, come on, bro.
I got you.
Man, that's what we do.
Come
man.
on.
We're fun, bro.
Yeah.
I'm definitely. Whenever you're ready, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, come,
Friend
bro.
of the show, bro.
Always, fam.
Yeah, man.
And that's another episode of A Matter of Mindset.